January frost still clings to the glass. He's roaring at the rally, red hat brash. Lock her up, echoes off the steel. Same fire, same fight, same raw deal. Tweets at 3 a.m. like a loaded gun. America first, the battle just begun. God, 6 months, 6 moons. Who's the man in the suit? Words flip like a coin. Where's the root? Is he compromised or just playing the game? One day it's a lion, next day it's tame. Compromise, compromise. The question burns in the midnight sky. April showers bring a softer tone. Handshakes with foes he once overthrown. Beautiful deals, he calls them now. Walls turn to bridges, but we're asking how. The base still cheers, but the chair feels thin. Is it strategy or the fix? We're in it. 6 months, 6 moons. Who's the man in the suit? Words flip like a coin. Where's the root? Is he compromised or just playing the game? One day it's a lion, next day it's tail. Compromise, compromise. The question burns in the midnight skies. Nice words, nice flash. Falls on a desk, whispers in the hall. A shadow in the mirror, 10 feet tall. Did the dragon power just change its roar? Truth's a moving target behind the door. Earth 3. July sun blazes, the script's reversed. Old enemies praised, old allies cursed. The crowd still waves, but their eyes look lost. What's the price of power? Who pays the cost? 6 months in, the mask slips slow. Is it him or a puppet in the show? 6 months, 6 moons. Who's the man in the suit? Words flip like a coin. Where's the root? Is he compromised or just playing the game? One day it's a lion, next day it's tail. Compromise, compromise. The question burns in the midnight skies. The question burns in the midnight skies. Compromise. We may never know. Hey! Compromise. We may never know.
How's it going, everybody? Ty Sites Shadow Games Report. Doing part 2 of Doom Dark Ages today. Where is my little thingy at? Okay, there I am. I didn't know where the hell I was at for a second. Alright. Well, I'm here. I'm just now sitting down. I was standing up that entire time. How are we doing, everybody? Happy Friday. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I took the day off. I've been sleeping. I've been resting. Been trying to slowly catch up on the news of the day. It just seems like a little bit of a repeat. I feel like there's a little bit of a settling down of the whole situation with Candace and Alex Jones. Lots of fire thrown around between the two. More from Alex Jones than Candace, but she has been defending herself. And thankfully, everybody has been defending themselves pretty well, in my opinion. I'll even give Alex credit on certain portions of being right about, maybe Candace wasn't right about certain details. But I mean, I still agree that she was investigating and following her source. So I have not changed my position at all. It's just more or less, I want to give Alex credit whenever he gains a little bit of ground. But, it's like, if he's not going to respect that she's just doing what she was hoping that the FBI was going to do, then that's where Candace will get more, I don't know, more favor. People are giving her favor because they don't feel like she's being represented appropriately. So, anyways, that's all I'm going to say to that. I don't want to linger on Candace today. Let's focus on other stories. I will talk a little bit about Candace here in a bit, but it's just more or less talking about the news of the day since it's still lingering. White House highlights native born job gains amid employment debate. I haven't even clicked on that today. It just seems like it's just floating around from the past week or two. I don't know. Positive propaganda, I like to call it. Trump warns Iran against violent protest crackdown. Flynn urges Trump to make 2026 year of accountability. I've already talked about that. I don't know if he's said anything else new today, but I don't know. We'll click on it here soon. New York landmarks glow green for first Muslim American Heritage Month amid 9/11 backlash. We have a Muslim American Heritage Month now? Is January? Since when? That's new. I never heard anything about that. Has anybody else? That's literally the first time ever. Today. Today was the first day that I learned this. Trump freezes Minnesota child care funds over massive fraud probe. That's been lingering in the news as well. It's kind of like the whole 6-7 thing. It just popped up out of nowhere. Like, I learned about it from South Park. I didn't learn about it from kids or anything. I didn't even know anybody that did the whole 6-7 thing. But I don't know. Maybe it was just more of a younger generation thing and I got skipped over. Millennials get skipped over with lots of things, so I'm not too let down with all that. It's just more or less I'm used to it at this point. Alright, I want to click on this because I do want to see what the hell this is. Okay, so it looks like, it does look like Flynn has said something new. I'll read that in a second. I want to get through these headlines first. Potential New Year's Eve terror attack in North Carolina thwarted, FBI says. NY Mayor Mamdani defends scraping executive orders his predecessor issued. I'm not sure what he's referring to there. But yeah, Mamdani was sworn in yesterday, so he is officially the mayor of New York. We're just going to have to wait and see how this plays out. Which is kind of strange and almost scary because how things have been going in Europe lately towards Christian events or just white people in general. I mean, on InfoWars, they were just playing reels of clips of what's going on, and I was just sitting there like half awake, like, what the hell's going on, man? I don't know. I'm glad I wasn't popping off today. Usually I would be like into it and like, calling out the shit, but I don't know. I'm kind of over everything. I'm just like, is this really where we're gonna like take this country now? Anyways, let me get through these headlines. Trump orders divestment in 2.9 million chips deal to protect U.S. security interests. I don't know if that's with China. I heard he was going to meet with China today, but I don't know if that was a rumor or if that was something that is going to actually happen. Federal judge dismisses Louisville police reform agreement spurred by Breonna Taylor deaths. DoorDash bans driver over alleged AI delivery scam. Kind of curious what that is. Is he using AI to steal DoorDashes, or is he maybe using AI to get more orders? I have no clue. I'm trying to figure that out in my head. Trump losing ability to issue tariffs will be a terrible blow to U.S. national security. I honestly don't understand why the Supreme Court is having an issue with this, but maybe it's due to certain judges on the court. I haven't looked into it in a few weeks since we last talked about it. New York Magazine removes Mamdani aide from cover after resignation over anti-Semitic post. BYD overtakes Tesla as world's top EV seller in 2025. Who's BYD? Is that like an Asian company or something? Beating out Tesla. I'm sure Elon will not appreciate that. Trump says U.S. will intervene if Iran violently kills protesters. Zohran Mamdani inaugurated as 112th mayor of New York City. We talked about that yesterday. About 40 people dead, 115 injured in fire at Swiss Alpine Bar during New Year's celebration. Yeah, it seemed like there was just some Muslims that set the whole place on fire, and yeah. I mean, at least that's what I got from the Infowars report earlier. Like I said, I was like half awake, so I was just kind of like watching everything in a daze. Just like, I can't believe. Like, what's really concerning is just having all these white European police officers just watch all this shit go down, and they don't rise up against their own um, leaders or whatever it is. You know, even if like they were to get blackmailed, it's like, come on, guys, like you guys need to. I don't know. You need to do something. Like you're literally just letting your whole country just go away to immigrants. Like, are y'all really that sour about your own people, or do you just hate yourselves? Like, I'm just trying to figure it out. Like, what is the whole psychology behind that? I mean, are they all bought off? Like, what is it? Maybe that's one reason the economy needs to tank. It will devalue everyone's currency, and then there will be no more rich people. You know, like there'll be no means of actually paying anybody off until we were to get the new system up and going, at least. That's at least in theory. I mean, I know that would create all kinds of crazy chaos just because of that. And I'm sure the rich people would probably do the craziest things just because they lost all their money. I don't know, man. I was kind of hoping we were going to get like a. Has anybody seen the show Mr. Isn't it called like Mr. Robot or something like that? Or Dr. Robot? I think it's called Mr. Robot. Anyways, he's like a hacker. And I don't know if anybody watched the end of the series, but spoiler alert, I guess I'll go ahead and say that too. Um, Bitcoin, like, basically replaces the whole financial system, but, like, the whole financial system, like, goes down, and, yeah. Yeah, everybody loses their money, and, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I don't want to give everything away, but, it is very interesting. I was kind of hoping we were going to see something like that over the past few weeks, but I don't know. It didn't seem like anybody's prediction came true. We had Warren Buffett come out saying that the stock market was going to crash. We had the Bank of Japan coming out saying that, well, I guess things are kind of crashing in Japan, but not nearly as bad as I guess a lot of people were kind of expecting. I mean, they are selling off their yen for, I think, silver and whatnot, which as far as I know, silver seems to be exploding at the moment. I think it's around $130, I think an ounce, but don't quote me. I don't know what the actual percentage was. I'm just going by a post that I was coming across. Anyways, let's get to Mike Flynn here. Flynn urges Trump to make 2026 year of accountability. Flynn posted a declaration of accountability accusing bureaucrats of eroding freedoms, paired with a letter to Trump signed by allies like J.D. Vance, Susie Wiles, Pete Hegseth, and Pam Bondi. So wait, did J.D. Vance and all these people sign this letter with Mike Flynn? Is that what that's saying? Let's read further and make sure. The message demands reflecting a bloated government and warns that inaction would harm Trump's legacy coming after his 2024 with 312 electoral votes and 77.3 million popular votes. Supporters rallied quickly with likes and reposts, while critics called it unproven conspiracy talk amid ongoing base frustration over slow prosecutions. So rights are stolen overnight. They're surrendered when people get exhausted and stop demanding answers. accountability keeps getting delayed, notice it's never denied, just postponed until the public moves on. This declaration of accountability is us, we the people, refusing to move on. Power without consequence isn't legitimate. If that bothers you, it should. Add your name in the comments. Share this post. Share our cause. Thank you. So let's see what it says. You'll see that on the screen. Let's make sure everything's there first. Cut off a little bit. I'll fix it. Why is it not actually going to the post? Weird. Usually it fills up the screen. Whatever, is that better, y'all? I don't know, that might be worse. I'll just read it. Alright, dear Mr. President, I know you are listening to We the People. This message is sent on behalf of a very frustrated 79 million Americans who voted for you and millions more who refuse to be ignored. Therefore, we are designating 2026 as the year of accountability. Why now? Because the country is at a breaking point. Our freedoms are being chipped away in plain sight. Our government has grown bloated and arrogant and unaccountable. Public trust has not merely declined, it has been obliterated. Power has been stripped from citizens and hoarded by bureaucrats, agencies, and unelected elites. Those who call themselves leaders protect each other while the American people pay the price. Civic duty has vanished from the classrooms, replaced by obedience and ideology. The family, once the backbone of this nation, has been systematically weakened and devalued. Enough is enough. I think part of this was on a different post one night, because some of it seems familiar. I think he maybe took parts of it and maybe included it on post or something. Maybe took from post and included it on here. I'm not sure. At its core, this is not partisan. All Americans are demanding accountability. We, the people, reject the lies, the gaslighting, the censorship, and the deliberate erosion of our lived reality over the past decade. We remember what was done. We know who did it. We are no longer willing to move on without consequences. The message is unmistakable and unstoppable. Americans demand accountability. So, Mr. President of the United States, the question for you to answer is simple. Will you stand with we the people, or will you protect the system that failed us? Make 2026 the year of accountability. We will stand with you through thick and thin, like we always have, but you must respect our wishes. If you don't, as our founders warned, the deep state concentration of power in government will lead to greater corruption and eventual tyranny. I think we're already within tyranny. Just my personal opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, we're already seeing online censorship for really the past 10 years now. Now it's just manifested into a new, I would say, more covert form, more algorithmic censorship, I would probably say. It's almost like a limiting of reach, shadow banning, if that makes any sense. But yeah. And your legacy and history will be tarnished with beyond repair. And it's got fight like a Flynn. It's kind of lame. I don't know, I liked most of it, and then he had this at the end, fight like a Flynn. Fight like a Flynn pack? I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyways, next story. What else we got here? Trump warns Iran over deadly protester crackdown. which actually I think I've already posted a lot of these. Let's go ahead and flip over to the content. Oh, it took it off my screen. I gotta scroll all the way down again. That's okay. That's okay. We'll hit it from both sides. Did I cover that last night? Yeah, I did. I must not have posted much last night. I think I went to bed early. No, I went to bed late. What are you talking about? What did I even do last night? Oh yeah, I stayed up late. Playing that game. That weird-ass Arc Raiders game that I still never watched a tutorial on. I need to. We're playing Doom tonight, though. I ain't playing with games that I can't figure out within 5 minutes. What am I doing? Alright, let's get to this guy. Let's get to this guy. Now let's get to... Where did I stop last night? I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. I remember we played that. Alright, let's see what this is. Arthur McWaters says, this is staggering. The U.S. collects more income tax than the entire national budget of every country except China, and we lose more in fraud than the entire budget of all but 4. So money is clearly not the issue. Politicians raise taxes. Yeah, zoom in on this. Get where it needs to be. Politicians raise taxes not because it's needed, but because it gives them a bigger slush fund to enrich groups who will vote for them. Hey, how much that makes sense. That's actually a very concise way to put it. They fund luxury hotels for illegal immigrants while working families can barely afford healthcare. It's treasonous, corrupt, and evil. This is how empires fall. True that. U.S. fraud. 1.5 trillion. Jeez. Jeez. I gotta zoom in on both sides, man. Why is it doing that? I need to figure out why it's doing that. Something's wrong with my resolution. Give me the sexiness up close, please. Thank you. Alright, we're gonna hit it from both sides, like I said. Breaking, ICE is now conducting full-scale raids near Minneapolis. Enraging. Traitor Tim Walz. Keep it up, guys, says Nick Sorter.
Tienen a todos rodeados aquí en esta fábrica de True North Solar. Los tienen a todos rodeados en el True North Solar, en esta compañía. ¡Muertos de hambre! Are you... Okay, the plaque numbers. ¡Muertos de hambre! Las placas.
Why is California refusing to cancel 17,000 immigrant truck drivers' licenses? California would rather protect illegal aliens than their own citizens. Thanks to Gavin Newsom. Sisters make $774,000 a year babysitting each other's kids on taxpayer dime in Washington, from Mario Nafal. 2 sisters in Washington figured out how to turn childcare into a full-time payday. All they had to do was babysit each other's kids and call it a business. Libs of TikTok says, holy crap, my jaw is on the floor. Amy Bach, the ringleader of the Feeding Our Future COVID fraud scheme, is listed as the contact for at least 47 taxpayer-funded child cares in Minnesota. Wow. According to the official state database. Traders everywhere, y'all. These locations must be investigated for potential further fraud. Yeah. Arthur McWaters says, let me get this straight. In 1913, 0 American families paid income tax. In 2025, every family paid income tax, and about 2/3 of it just covered fraud. 2/3 of it just covered fraud. We have become a tax farm for politicians to enrich themselves and anyone who they can import to vote for them. And that was Elon Musk reposting that. So that's good that he's posting that. I'm wondering where Elon is at right now with the whole third-party thing that he mentioned earlier this year. I guess he was not legitimate on that, because I think some people might want it now. Nick Shirley says, as much as you want to try and debunk the truth, you can't. I did something the MSN has failed to do, and what is that? To serve the people. We are the media now. It's more obvious than ever. Oh, and part 2 is coming soon. "42 minutes of my crew..." And
Hello, we'd like to ask where the money's going. What do you guys think about the fraud that's taking place here in Minnesota?
I don't think anybody is enabling fraud to happen.
Hold Governor Walz accountable for this.
What was this money spent on? 1.26 million. What was that money spent on? There aren't any kids.
Answer the question. Are there children? There's no children inside this building. Potentially the largest fraud scandal in U.S. history is taking place in Minnesota, as literally billions of dollars have been funneled through Somali-ran fraudulent businesses. So much fraud, it could actually almost replace the entire GDP of Somalia. These fraudsters have worked hand in hand with the Minnesota government as they enabled billions of dollars to be given to fraudulent businesses underneath welfare purposes. Some of this money eventually landed in the hands of terrorist groups in Somalia like the Al-Shabaab, and others enriched themselves all at the US taxpayers' expense. And in this video we will break down all of the fraud from start to finish, from going to the fraudulent businesses and confronting the people who are making millions of dollars from the government. And we will also be confronting the incompetent government leaders who let this fraud happen. And to make this happen, I met up with a man who's been doing his own investigation for years now, as he has seen the fraud firsthand. His name is David. Let's get into this and be prepared to be shocked. How deep is this fraud here inside of Minnesota?
It is far worse than anybody can imagine. You heard it's 7 to 10 billion and maybe more, and now the numbers have been revised and put out there publicly that they think it's more like 8 billion. How I got involved is that where my office is here in Minneapolis, I'm sort of in the heart of all of this fraud, and I would see these child care centers. I said, well, there aren't any kids there. It's the middle of the day, and all I see are a couple of guys standing out front smoking. And then I'd go by another daycare and I'd see the same thing. I said, well, where do these kids play? And so I started to go online and look, and I said, this place is licensed for 80 children. They had 0 children. Every time I went by there, they never had a single child there. Then I started to see all these transportation companies going around, and it was always a Somali driver. And I said, well, that's great. They're out there transportation, contributing, but they never had a passenger, never, ever once. And I said, well, what is all this transportation? What are they doing? So then I found out that in Minnesota, they have something called non-emergency medical transportation. So this is going to the dentist's office, therapy, whatever it might be. And I said, well, how many of these companies are there? And the research came back that there are 1,020 of them, and more than 800 of them are Somali-owned. Nobody from the state of Minnesota ever cross-checks to see if any rides were ever actually provided. All they did was write the check.
So right here we have all this paperwork. And how are you getting all this information about the fraud?
A lot of it is through my own research, And then I have some contacts at the Capitol going back many, many years. And so the data that I'm getting is 100% accurate, coming directly from research done by people at the state capitol.
All this paperwork right here, what are we looking at?
The areas of fraud that I have numbers for are mostly related to childcare. This is massive fraud that is beyond anyone's imagination, the scope. And so, for example, there's a childcare not far from here in Minneapolis that has two childcares listed at the same address. And together, they're licensed supposedly for 120 children. I have never seen a single child there ever, and I've been by that place at least 100 times.
These Somalians, these groups are setting up these daycares, these childcare centers, getting money from the government, but there's no kids.
No kids. Never had any of them. They're all fraught with violations, and even though they have these violations, they're still in operation and they're still getting money. And it's millions of dollars for every one of them every year.
And who's getting the money? And where are they getting the money from?
So we have a thing called CCAP. It's a blend of federal and state money. The bottom line is it's taxpayer money, so it's state money and it's federal money. And the problem is the people at the state of Minnesota are the ones writing the checks. This is kind of the maddening thing is you have daycare, so you have adult daycare, and then you have child care, and then you have health care. And a lot of these same names keep coming up on all of these different types of businesses. And then, of course, we have the transportation, and a lot of those same names appear, a lot of the same addresses. There's one building that has 14 Somali healthcare companies at the same address. There's another building in St. Paul that has 22 Somali healthcare businesses at the same address.
And the government knows about this.
The government knows they're writing the checks. Yeah, the Democrats over there just writing the checks. What has happened is that the Somali community is a very closed community. They will not speak to anyone outside the community and talk about what's going on within the community. They vote as a block. And so when you're a politician, you're saying, look, I've got 100,000 people in Minnesota that if I do something for the community, they're going to vote for me. And that's what it's all about, is getting the votes. And then the people here in Minnesota, you hear this term, Minnesota nice. I'm so sick of that term. The people here are so afraid of being called a racist or an Islamophobe, and they're afraid of their own shadow. And I don't understand. This is our future generations are going to have to pay for all this fraud, and they just want to bury their heads in the sand and go on and just not worry about it. Tim Walz saying there's organized crime in Minnesota. What did he do about it? Nothing. You got organized crime? What are you doing? This is the Minnesota law which mandates that anyone who knows of fraud and is a state employee must report that fraud. It's Minnesota Statute 3.971, Subdivision 9. Not only that, but Walz is also guilty of misconduct of a public employee. When I look at the world as a whole and I look at fraud, the Twin Cities is ground zero. The fraud is worse here than anywhere else ever in history. Anywhere.
We're going to go confront these people. We're going to go to these daycare centers. We're going to see what's actually happening.
Okay, so we have to be careful because these people are very violent. They're exceptionally violent.
Now, with all of David's evidence, we headed out to the streets of Minneapolis.
Okay, we're going to stop it right there. It's got, 37 minutes left on the video. Go check it out, guys. Seems pretty interesting. I have not watched the full video. I've seen clips here and there, but I just figured I would, I didn't think I actually covered it all that well, though, the first time I did it. I just showed little bits here and there, and I feel like that gives a little bit of a better rundown. Drogo says Samson option will be diffused, necessary to form WW alliances to defeat. Nuclear disarmament and world peace is the prize. He likes to.
There was a big.
He likes to talk a lot about. He likes to talk a lot about Q and different CIA officials, from what I can tell.
agreement on not using AI in the nuclear weapons complex. Tell us what you envision and what conversations you've had, if any, with President Xi on that topic.
Well, relevant to AI?
Yes.
I speak to him a lot about it. I speak to him a lot, actually. I have a very good relationship with him, as you know. If you had another president, you would have had a big rare earth problem, and it turned out not to be a problem. They're purchasing tremendous amounts of the soybeans and our agricultural products now. We're getting along with them very well. No, we talk about AI quite a bit. We talk about everything quite a bit.
Well, do you have specific
One of the
guardrails you're trying to put together with them?
One of the things I talk to China about is the denuclearization of weapons. That we'd like to see if we could stop that. I'm talking about nuclear weapons. I've spoken to China about that. I've spoken to Russia about that. And I think it would be something that we would want to do. And
Does WW stand for Worldwide Alliances? I'm just trying to figure this out right here. What does that mean? Does anybody know? I want to say it means worldwide.
they would like to do, and I think Russia would like to do.
They said they won't join the START or a follow-on.
Well, that's what they told you, but you know what they tell you is different than what they tell you.
I don't know, which camp are you in? Are you in the black pill camp or are you in the white pill camp? I feel like Drogo's in the white pill camp, and trying to think who else might think the opposite. I don't know, there's lots of black pillars. I can't think of one typically off the top of my head right now that covers, well, I guess Nick Fuentes, yeah. He's definitely the black pillar of the entire bunch, I would probably say. All right, Israeli cybersecurity billionaire Shlomo Kramer says it's time to limit the First Amendment. We need to control all the social platforms and take control of what they are saying. That's a direct quote.
I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. And quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms, all the social platforms. We need to stack rank the authenticity of every person that expresses themselves online and take control over what they are saying based on that ranking.
The government.
The government should
control the social media.
Yeah. I know it's difficult to hear, but it's time.
So we're going to be ranked and then downranked based upon who they disagree with. That's what I got from that, at least. Am I wrong? Am I wrong to assume that? I feel like that's a decent assessment. Feel free to add anything if you can think of any. Somali daycares in Minnesota are now making false 911 calls on journalists claiming they're in grave danger.
If they're on your property, they have to leave them out.
You know what's crazy about all this? It's like, it's a white officer talking to these Somalis. The Somalis are calling the white officer. They obviously hate white people. It's just wild. It's very strange. Anyways, I'm going to add what Drogo said to this video. He said, Israeli tyrant in America. I think we agree there. And then he makes his quote, it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it. No. No, no, no. Choose dangerous freedom over prison-like security. Any day. We have to. We have to. I mean, yes, we do need protections, but don't get crazy with it. Pastor gives warning to the world. For some reason, his mouth is not synced.
The Bible warns us that Israel of today, I want you to understand this, is not Hebrew, nor of the sons of Jacob. I want to say it again. The modern day state, it's not a nation, of Israel They are not Hebrew. Neither are they the sons of Jacob. When you try to tell somebody this, it's like there's cognitive dissonance. They can't think through the statement of what you're saying. They automatically think that any person that joins the nation and becomes an Israeli is actually an Israelite of Old Testament, but that simply is not true. The Ashkenazis, they are not Hebrews. If you don't know what that is, I want you to look it up, and I want you to educate yourself. The Khazarians, they are not Hebrews at all. I want you to look it up and educate yourself and understand that the majority of the people that live in the modern day state of Israel are actually Europeans, and they do not practice anything from the Bible. The majority of them are absolutely atheist. Can you imagine a European atheist trying to argue with you and tell you, well, I am God's chosen people? And you say, but you're a European and you're an atheist. How in the world could that make you God's chosen people? In fact, in 1 Peter 2, it literally says that believers who were not of a nation are now God's chosen people by faith in Jesus Christ. That's 1 Peter 2. You need to read it. That's written to saved believers, the church, the congregation of the upright, the assembly that trusted in the Lord Jesus Christ, and it's written for all nations. Modern Israel is not Semitic. I want you to understand that. Surrounded by Semites, yes, but they're not actually Semitic at all. Again, I remind you, I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. The synagogue of Satan is here. It's real. Zionism is a devilish conspiracy, and most Christians are completely ignorant of these verses.
Well said. He said it better than I would. Sometimes you gotta consult a pastor on these things when they're educated, because there are these Zionist pastors that will lead you astray. So, be aware of that. Be aware of the false believers, the false prophets in our world, giving the false message of whatever evil they cloak in goodness, which, it's a lie 90% of the time. We'll just have to see how everything is going to play out this year. I really hope that, well, actually, yeah. I remember this video now. We're going to play this video. I want to read this real quick, though, because I just want to get rid of it. Let's see, who is this again? I can't see it. I can't read that. I have no clue. Who's this? Mr. President Trump, I am grateful for your decisive leadership and support from my fellow compatriots. Your warning to the criminal leaders of the Islamic Republic gives the people of Iran greater strength and hope. Hope that, at last, a President of the United States of America stands firmly by their side. The people of Iran, while risking their lives to end 46 years of this regime's domination and its chaos and terror, have entrusted me with a message, along with a great responsibility to strive for the revival of the relationship that Iran once had with America, a relationship that brought peace and prosperity to the Middle East. I have a clear plan for a stable transition in Iran and enjoy the support of my people to achieve it. With your leadership in the free world, we can leave behind a lasting legacy of enduring peace. Let's see, this is Reza Pahlavi. Let's ask Grok real quick who this is. Who is Reza? Oops. I want to know who he is. Let's play this while we wait. The McCarran-Walter Act.
You know what needs to happen? We need to reinstate the McCarran-Walter Act. America First means Americans in charge. November 18th, 1990, the 101st Congress quietly repealed the McCarran-Walter Act of 1952, forbidding Muslims from holding office. Members of that Congress were Dick Cheney, John McCain, Joe Biden, Al Gore, John Kerry, Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi. The McCarran-Walter Act of 1952 was a landmark piece of legislation designed to protect the national security and interests of the United States. gave our government the power to exclude and deport immigrants deemed subversive or a threat to our way of life. What's funny is for decades, it stood tall, ensuring that those who came to our shores, and especially those who sought to hold power within our government, were loyal to this nation and this nation alone. Its repeal was a grave mistake, and we're living with the consequences today. We see a government riddled with officials who hold dual citizenship, whose primary allegiance is often questionable, and who push policies that benefit foreign nations at the direct expense of the American people. This is not diversity, it's infiltration, okay? It is a slow-motion invasion of our own halls of power, where decisions about our economy, our borders, our wars are made by individuals with deep-seated foreign ties. Our founding fathers, all right, they understood that a nation cannot survive if it's governed by those who owe their allegiance to another flag. We have forgotten that. Lesson to our Perot, all right? Reinstating the McCarran-Walter Act would be a powerful first step in reclaiming our sovereignty and putting the American people back in control of their own destiny. It's time to kick foreign influence out of our government and restore America to its rightful place as a nation governed by and for its own citizens. Do you guys agree with everything that I just said?
Like and follow. Be sure to like and follow, everybody. I just hate ending a video like that, but I guess you kind of have to. 2026 is here, the awakening continues, says Mr. Red Pill's Yoker Carmi.
The United States of America.
Get it bigger.
The United States of America did not begin with a revolution against tyranny, only to serve a foreign nation state. But the fact is, our government acts like the servant of another country. That other country is, of course, the State of Israel. That's not policy. That's a national disgrace. The U.S. government has been hijacked by forces loyal to Israel. Does Congress represent us? No. With rare exceptions, they work for Israel. These aren't your elected reps, they're puppets. And their strings are pulled by donors loyal to the modern nation state of Israel. This isn't an alliance, it's extortion. While we're scraping by, eggs at $6 a dozen, rent or mortgage devouring our paychecks, our leaders have funneled over $21 billion to Israel in 2 years, not counting the cost of U.S. engagements in the region at Israel's behest. The total cost to U.S. taxpayers in service of Israel is an estimated $33 billion since October 7, 2023. That's on top of the $3.8 billion sent Israel every year. Billions that could fix our roads. Billions that could fund our schools. Billions that could house our veterans. Billions that could ease your burden. But no. They fund endless Israeli aggression instead.
I think the American people are owed a tax holiday. And no, I'm not talking about a weekend or the last couple of weeks of August for tax-free back-to-school clothes purchasing. I'm talking about a long-term, possibly permanent tax holiday where not one single American pays a red cent in federal taxes at all. No payroll taxes, no income taxes, no corporate taxes, zero taxes to the federal government. And I would love to see you, Mr. President, make an announcement on January 5th that effective immediately, you are going to order the IRS to cease all tax collections temporarily, maybe permanently, until we get our arms around the amount of fraud, waste, and abuse that's been happening in this country. The Government Accountability Office released a report back in February of 2025 showing the American people and confirming what was found through DOJ, that up to $3 trillion went missing in improper payments in 2003 from Medicare and Medicaid sent overseas. That's right. Your money, my money, meant for Medicare and Medicaid recipients was sent as improper payments to people not even in the country. It also reported that up to $500 billion every single year goes missing to waste, fraud, and abuse. How much of that is in little Somalia up in Minnesota? How much of that is landing in the child care or health care businesses here in Columbus, Ohio? How much of that is making its way back to warlords and terrorist organizations overseas? Do you understand that that is up to $13 trillion that has gone missing? That's 36% of our entire national debt gone, wasted, stolen from the American people. Mr. President, we are due a tax holiday. On January 5th, I would love to see you come out and make an announcement that effective immediately, the American people are going to experience a tax holiday, and it's going to remain in effect until the federal government gets a full accounting of where every penny went, and every single person who's responsible for that theft and that fraud and that waste and that abuse is in jail. Tax holiday. Make it happen.
Not a bad idea. I mean, tax, or just no taxes. I don't even know what a no tax holiday means. I mean, we already kind of have a tax-free holiday. So why call it that? Like, why not just say get rid of income taxes? Get rid of all of it. Why, I don't know. Just move on. People of Iran want their nation back from the... So yeah, it looks like there's protests emerging within Iran. Not sure where it's going to lead to, but it kind of seems like... It almost seems like a color revolution is being set off in Iran, and then Trump is saying, if the government does anything to shut it down, we're going to bomb you. So, we'll just have to see how it escalates. I'm not saying, anything I'm saying right now is absolute fact. I'm just kind of speculating here. That's what I'm just basing off of what I'm saying here. But either way, Owen Schroyer, everybody.
Listen to their own words. Listen to what she says.
What's going to happen to them for it?
It'll be worse for America than Israel.
What's going to happen to them for it?
America's turning on Israel, then America deserves what's going to happen to them for it.
Get a little bit closer for this one. I want people to be able to see the video a little bit better.
Listen to their own words. Listen to what she says.
What's going to happen to them for it?
It'll be worse for America than Israel.
What's going to happen to them for it?
America's turning on Israel, then America deserves what's going to happen to them for it.
It'll be worse.
America deserves what's going to happen to them for it. They don't count themselves as American, folks. How is it that you can say that if you're an American? Roseanne, are you an American? Are you an Israeli? What do you mean them? I thought you were an American. This stuff actually pisses me off. That I have foreign loyalists that tell you who they are. They tell you who they are. They threaten America. That's what they're doing. These foreign loyalists, these traitors are threatening America. And they're saying, you better support Israel or America will collapse. Israel will move on to another country. They don't need you. Good! Then go! Read the room! We've been asking you to leave. You won't leave.
Hope you have good security, Owen. You have already been, what do they call it, swatted a few times, from what I can tell. Let's see, Redacted says, our guest today, comic Dave Smith, joins us to talk about what it is really like to get scammed. Oh wait, I didn't watch this. I can't cover something I didn't watch. I'm not sure what he talked about anyways. Cancel mobs, moral panics, war politics, and why opposing endless war gets you branded and attacked. Let's talk about Ian Carroll. He had an interview with Tucker Carlson. I've not seen it yet either. So I've got 2 interviews that I can watch. I don't know if I'll watch everything. There's not enough time in the day for all these interviews. Like, everybody's doing all these 3-hour podcasts. I got a 3-hour podcast. I mean, I don't blame you if you can't watch all 3 hours. Jeez. I want you to, though. I need you to. I'm just kidding. Charlie Kirk is months ago now. And to this day, I think most Americans still feel that we don't have an honest set of answers.
Charlie Kirk is months ago now. And to this day, I think the most Americans still feel like we don't have an honest set of answers. Whether you believe it was Tyler Robinson or you believe it was some version of some other conspiracy, I think that a lot of people feel very underwhelmed by the way it was handled by Kash, the way it was handled by every government official involved. And that should have been the most basic one.
Well, so I didn't want to talk about this because I know everyone involved very well, and I feel emotional about it. And I'm going out, day after tomorrow to speak at Turning Point at Charlie's request. But I don't. So the hostility that I don't know what that was. The onus is on the government to prove it was a lone gunman. Okay, that's up to them, not up to me.
That's their job.
I'm not accusing anybody. I don't know exactly what happened. There is a lot of evidence that Tyler Robinson was involved, at least from what I read.
Yep.
If those text messages are real and the murder weapon is, I'm willing to believe anything, but I do think it's up to them to prove it to us.
Yeah.
Here's what I don't understand. There's been an enormous amount of rage, different people with different views getting mad at each other. There's been almost no pressure on federal law enforcement to cough up the freaking facts and to tell a story that makes sense, that's got internal coherence, that that makes sense. I get it.
Exactly.
And there's no pressure on them. Even the question of motive, again, I want to believe it was a lone gunman who was a tranny or something. I want to believe that.
That is a lot better of an answer, a lot more comfortable.
100%. I want that. By the way, I'm a middle-aged man. I'm a normie. I don't want to believe anything other than what they tell me. But they've made it impossible for me. Yeah. So, but I don't understand the motive. They're like, well, transgenderism, which obviously I'm opposed to. But okay, was he transgender? Was he on hormones? How do you go from being this seemingly normal person to murdering a stranger with almost a dead certainty you'll be punished, you'll spend life in prison or be executed for it? That's a lot. That's a deep commitment, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Of course it does, but how did it happen in this case?
Yeah, and tell us the facts, right?
Yeah. And it's shut up.
Yeah. And it's it's a parallel to the Las Vegas in the sense that just one piece of evidence, in the case of Charlie Kirk, it's one piece of evidence. In the case of Las Vegas, it's 5 trillion.
Well, the Las Vegas thing, the story is just what
I was going to say is that the video is, we know they have it. In Vegas, we know that there's surveillance footage of the entire city. We know that every hotel has footage of everything that happened. And we know that they could release it, and we could see these alleged gunmen. We could see these fake 911 calls, right? And in Charlie's case, we know that the camera that they released footage of this guy running across the roof, that camera sees the whole roof. That camera sees the shooting position clearly. I went there myself. And so it's if you have the video of the shooter running to get off the roof, you have the video of him taking the shot. And so it's these little things where you don't take that step to release the evidence that is so in our faces, to just give a little bit of trust to the public, to clarify things. It's why don't you take this step for trust?
Very, very good points. I don't know why Ian Carroll is so hated by so many. I tend to like what he puts out, but I don't know if I'm wrong about anything. If anybody knows anything about Ian that I don't, I would love to hear it. I just don't ever hear something that seems to be too damning. But correct me if I'm wrong. Candace Owens says towards the same video, wait, we organized Turning Point USA attacks at Tucker Carlson's Christmas party. I don't know how I missed this, but this is a crucial hilarity. Please tell me more. Let me make sure who she's talking to here. Oh, okay. She's talking to Laura Loomer. Tucker Carlson is doubling down on mainstreaming people who falsely stated that Israel assassinated Charlie Kirk. know how I missed this, but it's crucial hilarity. Wait, we... Okay, now I get it. Okay. She's making fun how they were all attacking Tucker Carlson at Turning Point. As if they all organized it. All alleged stuff. Not saying they did or did not. All alleged. Iran orders banks to prep for system-wide collapse. A secret letter from Iran's central bank just leaked, and it's nothing but bad news. Every major bank has been told to enter full emergency mode immediately. Why is all... It's like every single bank in the world is just like collapsing all at the same time. It's very, very interesting. I mean, we have the Fed. Honestly, it's hard for me to even like articulate. Like I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with the Fed, but they've already dumped what seems like $100 billion since Christmas. That or they printed more. I honestly don't know. I have to find the post again. I don't want to tell you wrong. Governor Kathy Hochul says the resilience, compassion, and contributions of Muslim communities help make our state stronger. It appears that New York is green right now to celebrate Muslim Heritage Month. Which I have a hard time even saying because I did not even know it was a thing. I guess it's probably a new thing. I would imagine maybe even Mamdani probably created it. I honestly don't know. Today is the first day I've heard of this month. It was kind of like last year, the year before, it was like the first time that I heard of Juneteenth, and what was it? I can't remember what it was. Was it Slave History Month or something like that? I can't remember. I don't know. It was something weird. I don't know. Juneteenth, it's a weird holiday. Anyways. Let's see. Move on to something. Did I even finish this with this? Oh, yeah. I didn't finish the rest of this. I want to read more of this. The letter warns of attacks, blackouts, and loss of control scenarios. Banks are being ordered to secure their data, activate backup systems, and keep their money moving even if everything collapses. Yeah, it kind of seems that's where we're going right now, huh? We're just like in the weird little final days of whatever economy that we have left, and there's no real comfort being put out from the government saying that everything's going to be okay. I mean, half the time whenever you do scrutinize anything, Trump will just call you a panikin or something, some other odd name. And you're just like, okay, so we're not allowed to panic over things that we would normally panic about. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Are they actually confident? Is it false confidence? It's things we don't really ask. But it seems like Iran is in the same situation to some degree, but they're having what seem to be like mass protests, but I don't know. I need to see more videos too at the same time. I've only seen a few. Alright, I'm going the wrong way. I have not seen this video yet, but it looked very interesting. Erica Kirk is a Rothstein, which on the video it says Rothschild, so I think he's just trying to be funny. The family ties that could blow the Charlie Kirk case wide open, says Project Constitution.
You might not know Erica's exact family lineage, but presuming that they are Rothsteins, it's rather strange then that Rothstein shares family ties to another family, another prominent Jewish family that has been the center of many theories for hundreds of years and has been involved in everything from currency manipulation to economic crashes and to assassinations and everything in between, and that family would be the Rothschilds. Indeed, I was rather surprised to see that the two families are related, and pretty directly, because all I had to do was scroll over to the side and boom, there it was. The Rothsteins and the Rothschilds, two infamous crime families, connected right next to one another. Who knows, maybe this is all just one giant coincidence wrapped in a coincidence taped in a rigmarole, but I really don't believe in those, and I'm not comfortable just saying things are just a coincidence. I think that's a lazy excuse when too many facts are presenting themselves. Who is Erica Kirk? So in this series, we're going to seek to find the answer to that question. And trust me, I would not have expected that the most basic question possible was going to take us so many episodes to get to, and I most certainly did not expect that it would leave me wondering if Charlie really was a contemporary Truman Burbank.
Tell me what's happening! You're part of this, aren't you?
Imagine if you could make one half of your family truly obscure at best, or completely indecipherable at worst. Who and what you are related to would be impossible to distinguish, and so remember that for later. We have to try taking one last look at her family, but this time not at her parents, although they might have been involved. Instead, this time we're gonna look at her roommate, which seems unexpected, but let's go. More than once, Erica Kirk has discussed how she dated no one during her 5 years living in New York until she met Charlie, which is an outright and easily disprovable lie, but that's for later. Erica says she really didn't want to date because of the following reasons.
I'm not gonna ask you your personal journey, but what I will say is when I lived out here, I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was. Somehow getting drinks was the replacement of having coffee and breakfast. I personally would rather have coffee or brunch with someone than go, I don't drink. I find it unproductive, not because I'm holier than whatever. I just don't operate that way. But I always thought it was very strange how she would go to drinks with one guy and then go to dinner with another. So it goes twofold here. So if you're expecting to marry someone that I was blessed with, like a Charlie, you have to be the type of woman that will attract a Charlie.
This was one of the only interesting tidbits in this horribly staged interview with that broad Weiss, whatever her name is, because it made some of us go, huh, I wonder who that roommate is that was such a bad influence. And lo and behold, after scouring Erica's various social media platforms, videos began emerging like these. And so now we can call into question who Erica Kirk really was in those 5 years, but once again, don't want to get ahead of myself. And instead we're going to hone in though on who is appearing in many of these videos. And based on a bunch of comments ranging as far back as 10 years ago on Erica's various accounts, we see a common thread that this same female is commenting on Erica's posts, and she just so happens to look like Erica's roommate who appears in these videos. And her name is Nicole Rothstein. And Nicole is actually not just her roommate or soulmate or best friend, whatever she calls her. Nicole is also Erica's cousin. And this is going to become a much bigger deal as we move forward. Nicole, unlike Erica, at least, at face value comes from money, and interesting money at that. The Rothstein name is not exactly synonymous with honesty. If they were in a dictionary, those two are on the opposite ends of one another. In fact, antonyms would probably be a better way to put it. In this photo, Erica posted in 2017, she is sitting next to a man whom I wager to be in his 50s, and another man who's standing in front of her, who I would wager is putting the pedal to the metal, pushing 70, the late 70s that is. And at the time, and really up until recently, if you had clicked on that photo on Erica Kirk's account on Instagram, you would notice that there's someone tagged. And that someone tagged is named Alan Rothstein, who Erica says is her uncle. And this old dude, I'm presuming here is Gramps, and this uncle that she references, I can only imagine is on the mother's side and is a member of that unknown segment of Erica's family that is seemingly being obfuscated. In any case though, when reviewing who Alan Rothstein is, I can understand why Erica may have chosen to hide that side of her family. Because Alan is not, as Hannah Montana says, the boy, the boy, the boy, the honest goods, the real McCoy. My goodness. Uncle Alan has been involved in several criminal operations. For instance, there is a long case file which goes into detail about how Alan defrauded someone of hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's supposed to be a consultant, but was actually just an insider, kind of like a spy, and was just getting info and using his position to spend hundreds of thousands of the company's dollars doing nothing. And Alan, if you're watching this, just want to say, that's not cool, bro. Jerk move. The document then gets deep into legal jargon, but discusses tens of millions of dollars at one point and falsely claimed assets, and then goes into the realm where a lawyer might be mildly confused. At his heart, though, Alan seems to possess the sticky fingers that his namesake is so infamous for, as we shall see. And lo and behold, someone who likes to pilfer the proverbial cookie jar also possesses a number of what are pretty obvious, in my opinion, friend companies. I run into a ton of these in videos. They're companies with little or no website, no customer history, no definable product, and they just sit there for years and sometimes decades doing nothing. But they are convenient for running money through, especially ill-gotten money, which seems to be Alan's MO. Not kidding, I was peeping through his companies and he's got a property management company, a hedge fund, and a bunch of others, and none of them seem to actually do much. That all said, whatever Alan and his family are doing is evidently working quite well for them, I might add. As Alan, though through a tool I use, I learned that Alan lives in a $13 million home. Not bad for a guy who seems to have never really worked a job or built anything himself. And that sort of cash also speaks to who was funding Erica's cousin Nicole, and possibly Erica herself, while they live the expensive Manhattan life doing nothing of material value. Now let's shove another step into the family and hit up Carla Solomon, originally Carla Francevy. This is apparently Erica's dad's sister, so once again, a little info on the mom's side. Carla can be explained in the following words. From the YouTube commenter, Vivian Ballard 391 5 years ago. I'm not implying that she is only interested in the financial stability of men. However, it must be said that she avoids relations with impoverished men. YouTube really is a wonderful place. Thank you for that comment. In other words, Carla married a man about 29 years older than her by the name of Jack David Solomon. A 29-year age difference. Jack himself is a bit of a character. He's one of the few people who have been born in America that possesses such an immense affinity for Israel. And oh yeah, we're going there. Jack has been a leading executive, or simply the leading executive, at a plethora of some of the largest companies on Earth, many of which possess multi-billion-dollar valuations and/or are simply government operations. For instance, for whatever reason, he was plopped into the chairman position of the board of directors for things like Federal Land and Development Corporation for 36 years, and Federal Research and Development, and Advanced Patent Technical. All sorts of things that when I'm reading it make me go, who are you really, bro? Especially because a sort of thing like that requires power, influence, money, control, and access, and gains you a lot of power, influence, money, control, and access. And for this next bit, I'm just going to skim through some of the organizations he's been highlighted as being a member of from his desk website, although I assure you there are likely many others. Membership: National Directory Quality Operations Foundation, 1963 to 1966. He's a sponsor of the National Hospital of Denver. He's also the co-founder of the Israeli Armored Corps Museum. Patron Or Chadash Orphanage Israel. Vice Chairman California Democratic Council, 1966 to 1970. Candidate for California State. 1966. Director of the United Jewish Foundation, 1956 to 1967. Committee member for the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce. Member of the World Affairs Council, member of the President's Cabinet for the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, member Las Vegas Chamber of Commerce. Oh yeah, that'd be because he was a controversial casino owner. He was also the director of the Utah Shakespearean Festival, 1999 to 2000. Seems like a weird addition. He's also the member of the American Air Museum in Britain, a foundation member, the Armed Forces Commission and Electronics Association, sounds powerful, National Aeronautics Association, International Association of Business and Professional, honorary, B'nai B'rith, President Club Utah Valley State College, yes, that's where Charlie Kirk was shot, President Club Brigham Young University, President Club World Jewish Congress, life. 32nd degree Mason, Scottish Rite, life. Yeah, so a lot of things should stand out to you there. The UVU, the massive ties to Israel, the powerful committees and organizations, and I could really out for a while just about the Israel connections alone and why that's weird, but if I have to tell you that, then you've probably been looking under a rock and have missed the dozens of red flags I just read. But these connections do go deeper than that, so deep that bro paid for and restored the ancient Zion Jerusalem closet in Jerusalem, which is rather a big deal to folks over there. Needless to say, he's sort of a huge deal in that community, and he's also very clearly connected to the highest echelons of the government and business, and the people who decide if and what you shall eat. What an odd family member for Erica to have, considering I was under the impression she was a Christian girl from Scottsdale, Arizona. But if this all didn't elucidate you to the fact that we are talking about some seriously connected people, like I said, he's a member of this thing called, that I can't pronounce, it's a Jewish secret society named B'nai B'rith. It's a very unique organization, very secret society-esque, very Freemason-esque, which apparently is controversial because they claim it's antiseptic to say that they are Freemason related, despite having a huge portion of their founding members actually being Freemasons as well, so take that as you may. But whatever, toss that aside. We also know from that whole blurb, Jackie Poo is a 32nd degree Freemason, which should be ringing bells for everybody, from the most unfamiliar with this sort of quote-unquote conspiracy theory world to the most familiar. The Masons are weird people. I've had personal experiences with them. I'm for sure on a list of theirs. That's a story for another time. But if you're really unfamiliar, it's rather a big deal to folks over there. Needless to say, he's sort of a huge deal in that community, and he's also very clearly connected to the highest echelons of the government and business, and the people who decide if and what you shall eat. What an odd family member for Erica to have, considering I was under the impression she was a Christian girl from Scottsdale, Arizona. But if this all didn't elucidate you to the fact that we are talking about some seriously connected people, like I said, he's a member of this thing called, that I can't pronounce, it's a Jewish secret society named B'nai B'rith. It's a very unique organization, very secret society.
shield is down, and the gate is taking heavy damage. Slayer, there's a turret in the courtyard you can use to hold them off. They're inside the castle. We almost have everyone out. them away from the lifeboats. Father, don't go alone. Commander, he signed off. transports are ready to launch.
I don't even have it on this computer.
Emergency protocols are in effect. Please clear the hangar.
Several demonic signals are moving to King Novik's position. It's Azric. Leia, have to help him.
Has been evacuated.
I'm still pretty fucking Oh my god, that was like an overload of coolness. Holy shit. Give me a second, y'all. Oh my god. I don't even know if anything could get that. Fucking holy shit. Whew. That was a cool overload. Why did I kick me out of everything to just go to the next part of the game? Is there a setting that I can just like turn on, like story mode or something? I feel like that's kind of a idiotic thing to ask for.
Thera, if the tether is removed, the Makers, their directive was clear. What would you have us do? Nothing.
It can't be removed. We scanned it. It's wired to a detonator. That demon, he's after something. You saw that. We call it the Heart of Argent. Anyone who wields it, they'd have the power of a god. Stronger than maybe even you. But the heart is incomplete. It's made up of 2 parts. The other half is a power source, and we don't know where it is.
Valen's search party is still active.
If he ever gets control of it, that much power in Hell's hands, none of us would survive. Unlock the Ancestral Forge.
Contact the ministry. You are stranded in this realm. There is no one left to trust. That is why you allow me to speak.
Good. Get a team ready to sweep the forest when we're done. I'm meeting him at the forge. People guarded this forest for generations. through that gate.
Quick bathroom break.
That's it. The gate will open now.
guess I want to keep on dying. Threw me out of my groove.
That's it. The gate will open now.
I don't know. The game just like got, I don't know, it was like super easy. And then like now all of a sudden everybody has like extra health. It's kind of annoying. Restart it. I don't want to lose them. I don't feel like it's a good spot in the game to be losing a bunch of lives. Plus my checkpoints right here.
That's it. The gate will open now. still has power. The demons are drawn to it. The Slayer has reached the Cliffside Barracks. site is ancient. These mines were built to harvest the raw materials of the ancestral beasts. The forge is inside. That lift will take you down. We're not far now. We can enhance your weapons inside the forge. Picking up high levels of demonic presence near the forge.
They call it hate, I call it math. Check the DNA, follow the path. No Ashkenazi, no Sephardi line. 0%, the chart don't lie. You need the blood to play the game. Can't steal the base if you got no claim. You can't be anti-Semitic if you ain't Semitic. Simple logic, automatic, no need to get dramatic. No tribe, no vibe, no inherited beef. Just a stranger on the sideline, offering no grief. Anti-this, anti-that, labels don't stick. Can't hate the club if you're not in the clique. Scroll the family tree, branches all bare, not a single Cohen anywhere. Grandma was Irish, grandpa was Greek, no menorah lit, no Yiddish we speak. I'm just a tourist in the argument hall. Can't burn the house if I don't own the wall. You can't be anti-Semitic if you ain't Semitic. Simple logic, automatic, no need to get dramatic. No tribe, no vibe, no inherited beef. Just a stranger on the sideline, offering no grief. Anti-this, anti-that, labels don't stick. Can't hate the club if you're not in the clique. It's like suing for slander in a language you don't know, or crying racism at a culture you don't grow. Identity's the ticket, gotta show the scar. No roots in the soil, you're just a passing car. Critique the policy, not the pedigree. Separate the state from the family tree. Call me cold, call me clinical fine, but the charge won't land. Wrong bloodline, say the word for the ones who share the name. I'm outside the circle, not playing the game. You can't be anti-Semitic if you ain't Semitic. Simple logic, automatic, no need to get dramatic. No tribe, no vibe, no inherited beef. Just a stranger on the sideline, offering no grief. Anti-this, anti-that, labels don't stick. Can't hate the club if you're not in the clique. You can't be anti-Semitic if you ain't Semitic. Simple logic, automatic, no need to get dramatic. No tribe, no vibe, no inherited beef. Just a stranger on the sideline, offering no grief. Anti-this, anti-that, labels don't stick. Can't hate the club if you're not in the clique. No star, no stripe, no ancient claim, just a voice in the void. Not part of the gene pool, can't avoid. Call it what you want, but the science is clean. Can't be what I'm not if you know what I mean.
I'm a Bombay girl in a foxy wrong world. Red tie, high heels, Teflon on my curls. Epstein files, honey, they're locked in a drawer. I smile for the cameras, then I ignore. Corrupt little buddies, they party all night. I wink at the donors, keep it out of sight. You can brush my hair, file it under later. Come on, Barbie, oops, Bondi, let's go procrastinate. I'm a Bondi girl in a fox-themed run world. Life in marble halls, justice gets unfurled. Investigation, no imagination. Yeah. I'm a Bondi girl in a fox-themed run world. Arrest who not them loyalties. My pearl, no cuffs, no fuss, just a photo op. Yeah. Come on, Bondi.
From the White House windows, he stares at the storm. Tariffs like thunder hitting the farm. Jobs slip away like sand through his hands. Factory shuttered in the heart of the lands. Promised the gold but delivered the rust. Voters remember when they turn to the dust. Approval's a whisper fading in the night. The base that cheered him now turns out the light. Oh, the iron law's calling. History's cruel game. Midterms come knocking and they stake their claim. Trump's gonna lose and watch the seats tumble down. 28 in the House, flip the whole damn town. Low ratings, high prices, the crowd's had enough. Backlash is rising like a tidal rough wave. 2026 blues. Yeah, the president's through. The main reason's clear. It's
Grab me some coffee. Let's get back to the game, y'all.
The mine is open. That heart powers the forge. It needs to be reactivated.
That helps. Save some time.
activated. 2 more switches left. has been primed. We can use the forge now. See you at the elevator. the demons, Thera.
We won't have much time. The Ancestrals never really die. The heart endures, and we harvest the energy. Svara, nim unvek anme veseque. Svara, nim unvek anme veseque.
They're here, falling back. We'll meet you at the exit.
way to end the week. We're into 2026, into a mystery of a year. Hopefully it's good. Let's pray, let's hope for the best. Anyways, if you liked the video, go ahead and like. If you're new to the channel, please follow. And if we're lucky, I'll see you probably next week. Alright. Have a good night, everybody. And a good weekend.
Out in the dust, where the balefires burn, idols of stone and the altars of Moloch turn. Jesus walked in with a whip made of words, drove out the money man, overturned their hordes. My house is for prayer, he thundered like flame, but the priest said